On the day I moved out of Evelyn's house, I cut off all contact with her. Her close friends said with a laugh, "That silly boy, Henry loves you so much. He's been your devoted admirer for so many years. Now that he's finally with you, he'll surely come back within 3 days. Just take this as a way to temper his character this time." Evelyn took those words to heart. She cut off all my sources of funds and even threatened to throw out all my things if I didn't come back. But 3 days passed. Then another 3 days. Even after several months, there was no news from me. It was not until the news spread that Ava, the eldest daughter of the Chable family, was going to get married, and my photo was dug up by the media and leaked online. It was rumored that Evelyn, the little princess of the Evelyn family, who was always known for her calmness, went crazy. She was frantically searching all over the city for her fiancé. However, that had nothing to do with me anymore. Later, when I met Evelyn again, she looked at me pitifully, on the verge of tears, and said, "Henry, I know I was wrong. Please divorce her and come back to me. Let's get married." Ava appeared beside me, affectionately, taking my arm and smiling brightly. "I'm sorry, my husband only loves me. We can't get a divorce." I had always thought that Evelyn loved me, but it was only at the moment when I heard her say that she had just been using me as a substitute that I realized how terribly wrong I was. "Evelyn, don't tell me you've really fallen for that Henry guy. In a few days, Lucas will be back. What if Henry sees him? Will he?" At Evelyn's birthday party, her friend asked her. Evelyn held a wine glass and smiled indifferently. "If he knows, so what? Can he really run away? Anyone can see that he's head over heels in love with me. He has no one to rely on in the capital city. Without me, he can't go far." She twirled the wine glass in her hand. It seemed that she had thought of something, and her eyes drooped. "If he didn't look so much like Lucas back then, I wouldn't have kept him by my side." "Then if Lucas comes back, will you abandon Henry?" Evelyn sat in the dim corner and smiled calmly. "No, Henry is so obedient, like a little pet. I'm still reluctant to let him go." There was a soft sound. My heart seemed to be pricked by a needle, and it ached so much that it trembled. The agate bracelet that I had carefully prepared to give to Evelyn also slipped from my hand and shattered on the ground. It turned out that when Evelyn took a fancy to me, she had just been using me as a substitute for another man. I got to know Evelyn and fell in love with her. It took me 6 years to get close to her, from secretly admiring her to openly expressing my love. As long as she stood there quietly, I could love her like crazy. My roommates used to say that I was the most devoted admirer in the world, but I didn't care. I just wanted to offer her all the beauty in the world with both hands, loving her, sincerely and passionately. When Evelyn agreed to be with me, I thought all the good luck in the world had come to me. Thinking about it now, it's quite ridiculous. It turned out that it was all just my wishful thinking. I had even forgotten that there was a huge gap between us. I was just a poor guy who was unremarkable in the crowd. How could I have won her favor? Now that I think back, the day we got together was exactly the day her first love, Lucas, went abroad. When she was with me, she had just temporarily transferred her feelings for Lucas onto me. I was just her sustenance and dependence. Everything was fake. Her saying she loved me was fake, and her kindness to me was also fake. Just like in the story of Juan being similar to the imperial concubine, the substitute story had also happened to me. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or bitter. The bitterness welled up in my heart like a river. I carefully picked up the broken pieces of the gift. When I picked up the last piece, my finger was suddenly pricked, and bright red blood immediately oozed out. I held back the pain, put the pieces into a box, and threw it into the trash bin beside me. The party was still going on, but I didn't go to find Evelyn again. Instead, I just sat alone in the dim corner, dazed. I watched the people coming and going in front of me. Some I knew, and some I didn't. I felt a moment of confusion over all these years. What was the meaning of what I had done? Evelyn's face appeared in front of my eyes again, and I shook my head, trying to drive her out of my mind. But it was no use. After sitting there for a long time, it seemed that there was a gaze fixed on me from behind. But when I turned my head, that gaze had disappeared. Halfway through the dinner party, not far away, Evelyn was dancing with the young master of the Maxwell family. The young master of the Maxwell family had been pursuing her for a long time, and the sounds of cheering and applause from the crowd were endless. A girl passed by me. She smiled and teased me. "Henry, if you don't capture Evelyn's heart soon, she'll run away with someone else." Looking at Evelyn across the way, I smiled bitterly. Her heart doesn't belong to me. I can't force it. The girl was taken aback. She had originally wanted to laugh at me, but seeing my dejected look, she felt a bit of pity. "Come on, forget it. I was just joking. Don't be too sad. Evelyn is the little princess of the Evelyn family, and it's normal that many people are chasing after her, but you're the one who has stayed by her side the longest. Maybe you and she will end up together after all." I knew it was unlikely, but I still thanked her. She wanted to talk to me more, but seeing that I wasn't in the mood, she left tactfully. Throughout the whole party, I heard Evelyn's name from others' mouths no less than 10 times. It was as if it was constantly reminding me that I couldn't live without her. Feeling annoyed, I clenched the wine glass tightly and wanted to go out for some fresh air, but I walked in a hurry and accidentally bumped into someone. The red wine in my hand spilled onto the ground, and some of the stains got on the other person's dress. Sorry, I lowered my head and apologized in a hurry. I thought, to myself, that it was over. This dress clearly looked like a high-end custom-made one, but before I could finish speaking, the person seemed to smile faintly, and a clear and pleasant female voice rang in my ear. "Henry, long time, no see." A faint fragrance of balsam magnolia flowers wafted over when I raised my head. Ava's elegant and refined face appeared in front of me. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. A week ago, I went to the company to find Evelyn, but I had an accident on the way. I called Evelyn countless times, but she didn't answer. It was Ava who helped me when I was in the most embarrassing situation. Ava was the only daughter of a Chable family in Linhai City. She took over and managed her family's huge group company. At a young age and was very capable. I wasn't familiar with Ava. The first time I met her was at a charity dinner that Evelyn took me to. Later, I found out that she and Evelyn were friends and their two families were old family friends. In this city, where every inch of land is precious, the power of Ava's family was far greater than that of Evelyn's family. I smiled politely. "Yes, Miss Ava. What a coincidence. But I'm really sorry for dirtying your dress. It doesn't matter." Ava smiled gently. We smiled at each other again. This time, my smile came from the bottom of my heart. Anyway, I was very grateful to Ava for what she had done for me. But before the smile on my face could fade away, when I looked up, I didn't know when Evelyn had appeared behind Ava. She was looking at me coldly. The emotions in her eyes were something I couldn't understand. Evelyn had her hair up high, looking like a beautiful white swan. She stood there. Even without any expression, she was still captivating. At the moment I saw her, I had to admit that even though I knew I was just a substitute, I still loved Evelyn. Suddenly, an idea popped into my mind, and I thought that being a substitute didn't seem so unacceptable. After all, I was shocked by this absurd thought. My heart froze for a moment. I lowered my head dejectedly, hating myself. Ava stood beside me and called me a few times, but I didn't hear her clearly. I seemed to be in a kind of morbid state, dazed and confused. It was not until a waiter passed by and almost bumped into me, and Ava quickly pulled me aside that I came to my senses. "Henry, would you like to dance?" Ava gracefully raised her hand, her eyes shining with stars, and she asked me with a smile. I looked at Evelyn, not far away again. She remained cold and indifferent, unmoved. I don't know why, but I had always been so submissive to Evelyn in the past. At this moment, I wanted to be a bit rebellious. When Evelyn was with me before, she was very possessive. She couldn't stand it when there was another girl in my eyes. If I smiled at another girl, she would be angry for a whole day and wait for me to coax her. I wondered what expression she would have if she saw me dancing with another girl. Would she be as miserable as I was? I withdrew my gaze, smiled at Ava, and said, "It would be my great honor to dance with Miss Ava." Evelyn, not far away, stared at me intently without saying a word. Her expression became even colder, as if it could freeze ice. I curled my lips, held Ava's hand tightly, and stepped onto the dance floor. The moment Evelyn saw me take Ava's hand, the usually proud and calm Evelyn lost her composure. The next second, regardless of the eyes of the crowd, she walked quickly towards me. "Henry." As Evelyn approached, the air pressure around us dropped. She forcefully separated me from Ava, wrapped her arm tightly around my waist, and took me away from Ava's grasp. Her slender fingers rested on my waist. "Sorry, General Manager Ava. He belongs to me." Her tone of voice was colder than ever before. Ava raised an eyebrow. "Ooh, so, you care about him so much?" Evelyn pursed her lips into a thin line and remained silent. Ava took a step forward and leaned close to Evelyn's ear. She suddenly said, "But what would Lucas think if he saw this?" Lucas, a trace of panic flashed in Evelyn's eyes. I smiled bitterly in my heart. It was Lucas again. I didn't want to hear this name at all. Why did everyone like him? Did Evelyn like him? And did Eva like him too? I was extremely annoyed. I tried to pull my hand away from Evelyn's grip, but I found that she held it firmly. "Don't move." "Be good." Evelyn's hand grasped mine. Her fingers were slender but strong. "This is my business. It's none of your concern." Evelyn coldly threw out these words and dragged me aside. In the secluded corner, she approached me step by step, pressing me. "Henry, you've got some nerve, even daring to flirt with Ava. What's so good about her?" Her faint breath blew against the tip of my nose, and she said in a voice that only the two of us could hear, "I'm 10,000 times better than her." After saying that, she stood on tiptoe and quietly kissed the corner of my mouth. "Henry, there can only be me in your heart." "Evelyn, what's our relationship now?" I pulled away from her. Evelyn's kisses were always so pious, and I often mistakenly thought that she loved me deeply. But now, I understood that all of this was just her disguise. It had been 3 years since we got together, and she had never publicly announced our relationship. My friends laughed at me, saying that I was a complete and humble admirer of Evelyn. I didn't care before, but now I desperately wanted to know the answer. As long as she admitted that she loved me now, I could overlook the fact that I was a substitute. Facing my sudden question, Evelyn looked up at me and gently wiped away the tears at the corner of my eye with her fingertips. Her voice was as alluring as a fox's. Henry, what answer do you want to hear? Do you love me? I looked into her eyes and asked directly. Evelyn paused for a moment, and her expression turned cold. She released my hand. Henry, does it really matter whether I love you or not? I shook my head and smiled self-deprecatingly. It doesn't matter anymore. From the moment she asked that question, everything no longer mattered. My heart, which had originally rippled, became like a stagnant pool of water. But Evelyn thought I was being unreasonable. She sighed and said with some impatience, Henry, I don't know why you're so hung up on this issue. In these 3 years, I provided for your food and clothing, given you countless luxury cars, and given you a monthly allowance of 100,000 yuan. I've never treated you badly. With all this, don't you think I love you enough? You agreed to dance with Ava just now because you wanted to see if I cared about you, right? What do I have to do for you to believe my sincerity towards you? I smiled bitterly in my heart, but that's not what I want. Evelyn's face turned cold. Henry, you should know when to stop. I don't want to discuss this issue anymore. If you still have the delusion of getting more from me, then I think we need to end our relationship in advance. She lifted her red dress and turned away heartlessly. But I wasn't willing to give up. Before she took a step, I asked out of the blue, if you had to choose between me and Lucas, would you choose me? Evelyn paused for a moment, her slender eyes fixed on me, and then she sneered. Probably not. Her expression was cold. Lucas comes from a better family background than you, is more outstanding than you, and has known me longer than you. If I choose you instead of him, wouldn't I be very stupid? I smiled faintly and nodded, looking calm. Okay, I understand. It turned out that even though we had been together for 3 years, I still couldn't compare to her first love in her heart, not even a little bit. With this in mind, I wouldn't have a psychological burden when I left. After having a falling out with Evelyn, I didn't plan to stay for the rest of the party. But I didn't drive here, and I was hesitating how to get back. When I went out, Ava called out to me from behind. She lifted the hem of her dress and walked towards me, her tone slightly raised. Henry, I'm just about to leave. Wanna go together? After what happened just now, I didn't know how to face her. Ava already knew my relationship with Evelyn. She probably thought I was a devoted admirer, too. No. Before I could finish, Ava suddenly put her hand on my shoulder. I was startled and didn't dare to move. Henry, I'm feeling a bit dizzy. I had some wine tonight. Could you please give me a ride home? Looking at her weak appearance, I had no choice but to reluctantly agree. Do you like Evelyn very much? While waiting at a red light, Ava, who was sitting in the passenger seat, turned to ask me. I was a bit stunned and didn't know how to answer. I probably do. Ava smiled a bit tipsy. Just now at the party, I heard them talking privately about who had a better chance, you or Lucas. She turned to look at me, paused, and then said, Lucas is my younger brother. I was taken aback, finding it hard to believe. I had heard before that Lucas had a very capable sister. I didn't expect the world to be so small, and it happened to be Ava, but it didn't seem strange either. Both of them had an outstanding temperament. I just hadn't associated them with each other. I smiled bitterly. So, are you also here to tell me that it's impossible for me and Evelyn, and that I should leave her? During the 3 years I was with Evelyn, everyone around her had warned me that she wasn't someone I should covet and that I should leave her as soon as possible. Over the years, I had gotten used to it. Ava let out a laugh. Why would you think that? Her slender and fair fingers tapped on the door handle by the window one by one. When she turned her head, her beautiful almond-shaped eyes were slightly curved, and she smiled beautifully. I mean, if you ever have any difficulties in the future, you can come to me for help at any time. Lucas is Lucas, and I am me. At that moment, I didn't understand the meaning of Ava's words. It was only later that I realized that she was giving me a sense of security, letting me believe that there was someone behind me who was willing to help me. The scenery outside the window flashed by quickly, and some indescribable emotion seemed to be fermenting in my heart. I gripped the steering wheel tightly. Thank you. After sending Ava home, I returned to my apartment. Just as I finished taking a shower, there was a knock on the door. As soon as I opened the door, Evelyn outside stared straight at me, looking. Drunk guy was a bit stunned. What are you doing here? Before I could finish, she pressed me against the door and kissed me forcefully, passionately and domineeringly like a robber. I let her hold me. Evelyn bit my lip as if in punishment. Why did you leave with Ava? She looked at me with teary eyes and sobbed. Henry, I don't know what love is. In my family, few people get married for love. But what I'm sure of now is that I don't want you to leave me. Henry, will you leave me? I steadied her and said calmly, Evelyn, you're drunk. I'm not drunk. I rubbed my forehead in frustration. There was no point arguing with a drunk person. I helped Evelyn sit on the soft sofa and made her a cup of honey water. Drink this. I held the honey water to her lips. Evelyn pushed it away. I don't want to drink it. Kiss me, and I'll drink it. She looked at me with eyes like a deer. I took a deep breath. Evelyn always talked nonsense when she was drunk, so I wouldn't take her words seriously. But Evelyn was a bit stubborn. Henry, can't you feed me mouth to mouth? My face turned red and felt hot. No. Evelyn made some unreasonable demands for a while under the influence of alcohol. Then she fell asleep on the sofa while talking. She mumbled something in her sleep, and it seemed like she was calling both Henry and Lucas. I carried her to the bed and turned to leave. She suddenly grabbed my hand and said with a hint of a sob, Lucas, I miss you so much. It would be great if you were here. I almost fell because of her pull. This woman had quite a strong grip. In her previous life, she must have been a domineering CEO. She had so much strength, as if it could never run out. I pursed my lips, pulled my hand away, and tucked the quilt around her. I'm not Lucas. Evelyn suddenly opened her eyes. When she saw me, she looked a bit confused. Henry. Yeah, Evelyn held her forehead. Sorry, it doesn't matter. After Evelyn fell asleep again, I smoked on the balcony all night. I hadn't had such a strong craving for cigarettes for a long time. Henry, where's my gift? You didn't give me a gift last night. After waking up, Evelyn seemed to have forgotten everything that had happened yesterday. At the moment, she looked at me with innocent eyes. I pursed my lips. Sorry, I forgot to prepare one. The agate necklace was a gift that I had prepared for Evelyn for a long time, but it had already been broken, so I simply didn't mention it. Evelyn's originally expectant eyes dimmed. She murmured, You used to give me gifts, but it doesn't matter, it's just a gift. It's okay if you didn't prepare it. I rubbed the center of my brows warily. I'll make it up to you another day. I'm a bit tired. I'm going back to my room first. Evelyn called out behind me, Henry. I paused, but I didn't stop walking or look back. Evelyn has been coming too. My apartment frequently these days. She gave me cars and watches. I always had an indifferent expression, like a dead fish. I didn't care about anything. Finally, she couldn't stand it anymore and hugged me coquettishly. Henry, you haven't hugged me for a long time. I stopped my hands that were looking for jobs on various recruitment apps. I turned around and gave her a gentle hug. Sorry. I apologized for no apparent reason. Evelyn looked up, her eyes filled with complex emotions. Her eyelashes fluttered, and she suddenly kissed my lips fiercely. As punishment, you're not allowed to leave me tonight, and then I'll forgive you. I kissed her back. Okay. As the night grew darker, the moonlight spilled through the window. After tonight, everything would come to an end. When I woke up the next day, Evelyn was no longer by my side. I went on a long trip. When I arrived at the cemetery in the outskirts, the fatigue I had felt for so many days was suddenly lifted. The girl in the photo on the tombstone had a bright smile. My face gradually softened, and I placed the plaid coat on the flowers that she had loved the most in front of her tombstone. I drank cup after cup of soju, and my tears fell like pearls hitting the ground one by one. Olivia, it would be great if you were still here. I smiled and gently stroked the tombstone. In the photo, Olivia had long, smooth hair. She had 2 dimples when she smiled, and she was bright and loved to laugh. Olivia and I were childhood sweethearts. We both came from remote towns. We supported each other from childhood to adulthood and were each other's salvation. But she died on the day when I loved her the most. Originally, we had both agreed to go to Hada University together at the start of the semester. Due to the sudden earthquake, Olivia tried to save me, but she didn't manage to escape. At the most beautiful age, Olivia was forever frozen in my memory. In the days after losing her, I had a hard time every day. But Olivia never appeared in my dreams, even once. I thought desperately that she didn't want to come into my dreams. I suffered from a rare mental illness, locked myself in a dimly lit room, and was in a state of despair. Until I went to university, I saw a girl with long, smooth hair, a cold temperament, and a smile that was very similar to Olivia's. I paid more and more attention to her and tried every means to create chances of running into her. But I never thought of disturbing her. I would just look at her from a distance. That girl wore beautiful dresses every day, loved to eat small paper cupcakes, and had many friends around her. She was like a princess, the center of attention. One day in the library, she bumped into me, and water spilled on me. She was busy apologizing to me. The wheels of fate began to turn, and my intersection with Evelyn started from then on. Later, I had more and more interactions with Evelyn. As soon as she appeared, I inexplicably wanted to be good to her, as if Olivia was still there. Evelyn became my spiritual sustenance. They all said that I was Evelyn's humble admirer, but I didn't care at all. As long as I could see her one more time every day, I was already very satisfied. Everyone knew that Evelyn took me as a substitute, and so did I. So, When I learned that Evelyn took me as a substitute, I was actually quite relieved. In this way, we were even. When I took a car back to the apartment from the cemetery and turned on my phone, I found that Evelyn had called me several times. She had also sent a lot of messages. "Henry, where have you gone? Are you playing hide and seek with me? You were so affectionate with me last night, but you ran away as soon as you got dressed today. Do you think I'll care if you disappear? I've seen this kind of playing hard to get trick many times. I don't care at all. 2 minutes later, you clearly said you wouldn't leave me. It was you who provoked me first. Why do you get to let go first? You come back right away. Henry, as long as you come back, I can forget about everything." When I got back to the apartment, Evelyn was standing at the door. When she saw me, she ran up to me with red eyes and hugged me tightly, crying pitifully, "Henry, you're such a jerk." I pulled away from Evelyn. Only then did I notice that she was different from before. She had cut her hair into a neat and playful short style. Gradually, I was mesmerized by the sight. She looked like this. She didn't look like Olivia at all. I suddenly felt a bit sad in my heart. Now, I didn't even have the sustenance to think of Olivia after all. Evelyn was not Olivia. I suddenly felt like a deflated balloon and didn't want to continue this relationship anymore. It was very quiet around. I said calmly, "Evelyn, I don't want to play this game with you anymore. It's over between us." Evelyn was somewhat incredulous. She stared at me blankly. "What did you say?" I repeated. "I said I want to end our relationship." Evelyn's eyes were red. "Our relationship? What relationship?" "The disgusting substitute relationship." Evelyn bit her lips and laughed coldly. "You don't take me as a substitute. The girl you like is the one in the photo on your phone, right?" I was surprised that she had known about it for a long time, but it was okay. I decided to go all out. "Yes, so, we should stop our losses in time. There's no need to end up hurting each other." There was a crack in Evelyn's calm and composed face. She gritted her teeth. "Don't even think about it. You're not allowed to go anywhere without my permission." Evelyn thought that if she locked me up like a canary, I wouldn't leave. But she was wrong. On the day she went to the airport to welcome Lucas back, I left the apartment where we had lived alone, dragging my luggage. Before leaving, I threw away everything related to us, including the men's ring she had once given me. I only left behind the various luxury cars she had given me and that black card. When I got in the car, the media was still reporting that the little princess of the Evelyn family was about to get married to the young master of the Ava family. I stared at the media video on my phone. In the video, Lucas was wearing a black trench coat, which set off his tall and outstanding figure and extraordinary temperament. Standing next to Evelyn, they looked very well matched. I smiled with relief. I put down my phone and stopped being stubborn. When passing by the riverside, I threw the latest model of the phone that Evelyn had bought for me into the river, cutting off all contact between us. Looking at the scenery outside the window, tears fell from my eyes involuntarily. It was over. Later I heard that Evelyn called me over and over again and got extremely drunk. Her close friend couldn't stand it anymore, and persuaded her, "That silly boy Henry loves you so much. He's been your admirer for so many years. Now that he's finally with you, he'll surely come back within 3 days. He used to be reluctant to ignore you. Yeah, he's just relying on your favor and being arrogant. Just take this as a way to temper his character this time." Who would have thought that 3 days passed, and then another 3 days, and I never showed up again? It was rumored that the eldest daughter of the Evelyn family had gone crazy. She was searching all over the city for her fiancé. Of course, these were all things that happened later. This had nothing to do with me anymore. After I left, Evelyn tried all means, but couldn't find me. So, she cut off all my sources of funds and used her means to make sure I couldn't find a job. She thought that in this way, I would obediently come back to her. I smiled self-deprecatingly. She thought I was interested in her money. Unfortunately, I didn't care at all. I studied for my bachelor's and master's degrees at the best university in Linhai City. I was always the top student in my major. I had strong abilities, and it wasn't difficult for me to find a job. But several companies I applied to, when they knew I was Henry, rejected me without even thinking. Now I have been blacklisted in the industry. "Henry," Ava rolled down the car window. "I heard you're looking for a job." I was a bit surprised how she found me, but I still answered honestly, "Yes. Does General Manager Ava have any Ava raised an eyebrow. "I actually do. You graduated from the top computer science department of Hoda University. Our company happens to be in need of an engineer. I believe you can handle the job." "How do you know?" Ava smiled brightly. "Maybe we've known each other for a long time." In December, there was a heavy snowfall in Lin City. I didn't actually join Ava's company. However, our company had a cooperation with Ava's company. I heard that Evelyn was engaged to the billionaire of the Ava family. When Evelyn's name was mentioned, there seemed to be a void in my heart. I couldn't tell what it felt like. I threw myself wholeheartedly into my work, got promoted, and received a raise very quickly, and was promoted to manager less than a year after joining the company. I went out to negotiate with the cooperative party. Unexpectedly, the person from the cooperative party this time turned out to be Ava. After the negotiation, the cooperation negotiation went so smoothly that our entire team was a bit stunned. Ava was never such an easy person to talk to. My colleagues beside me were all discussing. General Manager Ava has always put interests first, but today, she actually agreed to give us a 10% benefit. Could it be that General Manager Ava has some great happy event happening, so she's being so easy to talk to? We're really lucky because of her. I wish her great happy events every day. Then our company can make a lot of money and we can also make a fortune. The new colleague was very cute. I couldn't help but be amused. My laughter happened to be heard by Ava across from me. She tilted her head and looked at me a bit puzzled. I immediately fell silent and sat up straight. When the cooperation negotiation was almost done, it was close to the end of the working day. Ava stood up and adjusted her suit skirt. "Henry, I'll give you a ride." I instinctively refused. "No thanks." Ava stared at me without blinking, making me feel uneasy. To keep my job, I nodded. "Then I'll trouble you, General Manager Ava." After getting in the car, Ava suddenly leaned towards me. I could see her, delicate and fair skin up close. I was taken aback. Ava was amused by me. She pulled the seatbelt behind me. "Henry, don't you see it yet?" "See what?" "I'm chasing you." "Huh." I was stunned. This. I couldn't react for a moment. Ava said she was chasing me. I was so nervous that I couldn't even speak properly. "What are you stuttering about?" "I like you and I'm chasing you." "Got it." I nodded obediently. Ava laughed and tapped my forehead. "You're such a fool." My heart seemed to be struck by something, and the atmosphere gradually became ambiguous. My face started to feel hot. Lucas is back and engaged to Evelyn. Our two families have long agreed on the marriage alliance. Hearing Evelyn's name again, I was caught off guard. "Yeah, I know. Do you still like her?" I shook my head and looked out the window. "I don't know. I have a way to help you figure it out." "What is it?" "Marry me." My breath seemed to stop for a moment. My pupils dilated. "Marry," Ava said calmly. "Yeah, if you're with me, if we get married, they'll have to call you brother-in-law. You'll be of a higher seniority than them, and you'll have such a beautiful wife like me. Isn't that great?" My expression was a bit complicated. "But we've only known each other for a short time. This doesn't seem right, does it?" "Henry, you won't lose anything by marrying me. There are people in Linhai who want to marry me lined up all the way to France. Don't you want to seize this opportunity?" Ava coaxed me. I nodded. It seemed reasonable. I was a bit tempted. Anyway, it didn't seem to matter to me who I married. It was all the same. "I'll think about it." Ava smiled again, her eyes curved. "Think it over and call me any time." That night, I had countless dreams. In the dreams, there was 18-year-old Olivia in the past between me and Evelyn. The former love, sweetness, and happiness. I woke up suddenly. My heart ached. After being together for so many years, I realized that I still loved Evelyn deeply. She was no longer just someone who looked like Olivia in my heart. The little bits and pieces of our time together had seeped into my life, but I knew that there was no possibility for us anymore. The screen of my phone lit up slightly, and I suddenly remembered what Ava had said today. I picked up the phone and dialed the number. The phone was answered not long after. "Hello," I paused in the darkness. "Ava, let's get married." Ava liked me, and marrying her, I really wouldn't lose. It could also cut off everything between me and Evelyn. Ava, who had been half asleep, suddenly woke up. She got out of bed, her voice excited. "Henry, are you serious?" "Yeah, I can marry you, but I'm not sure if I'll fall in love with you." "It doesn't matter. Henry, I'm confident. I'm confident that I can make you like me." My eyes became a bit moist. "Okay, at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, bring your household register and wait for me downstairs. I'll come pick you up." Okay. When I woke up the next day, oh my goodness, what did I do in the middle of the night? I said I wanted to marry Ava. Oh my God, is it too late for me to play dead now? I've already hurt one girl. Am I going to hurt another one? And it's Ava. And Ava actually agreed. Oh heavens. Oh Dad, the world has really gone crazy. What do you want to back out? No, I'll come downstairs right away. It's a matter of life and death anyway. Whether it's early or late, I have to face it. It's just a marriage. I have never been married in my life. I should get married at least once before I die. I walked downstairs with my head held high. Let's go. After coming out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, 2 bright red marriage certificates were in front of me, and I was still in a daze. Ava's lips curved up. "Are you happy? From today on, you're going to be a rich man." I blinked, my eyes shining with the light of money. Wow, Ava looked at my silly expression and couldn't help laughing. "We're going back to the old mansion today." "Huh, this so soon?" "Yeah, Evelyn and Lucas are also going back." My mood immediately dropped, and I was in a dilemma. Can I not go? "Henry, you have to face it someday." Ava held my hand tightly. "I'm here. Don't be afraid." Ava's family was wealthy, and the old mansion was decorated splendidly. Before I even stepped in, I saw Evelyn. She was wearing a white gauze dress, looking cold and distant, just like in the old days. Ava noticed my mood and squeezed my hand. Evelyn also saw me. She looked at me in disbelief. Henry, why are you here? I brought him here. Ava, don't you know about me and Henry? Evelyn paused, and her face turned pale. Don't you think it's inappropriate for you to do this? What's inappropriate? Aren't you two not related anymore? Ava retorted. Evelyn couldn't find a reason to refute, and I didn't say anything either. The four of us sat at the dining table having dinner, and the atmosphere was a bit awkward. There was my favorite juju paste cake on the table, but it was too far away from me, and I didn't feel like talking much. I poked Ava and whispered, I want to eat the small cake next to you. Can you pass it to me? Soon, the small cake was on my plate. Thank you. I took small bites of the cake, and there was a strange feeling in my heart. It seemed that being married to Ava wasn't so bad, but when I looked up, I met Evelyn's slightly cold gaze across from me. I ignored her and lowered my head to continue eating my small cake. Cake was much more delicious than love. Anyway, sister, when did you get so close to Henry? Lucas looked at me, and Ava, puzzled. You have to call him brother-in-law from now on. Lucas, Evelyn, me. Ava's words stunned everyone at the dining table. What? Ava stood up calmly and took my hand. I want to announce something to you. Henry and Juan are married. Evelyn stared at me and Ava, gritting her teeth. What do you mean by that? Literally. After saying that, Ava took out the two red marriage certificates, with a proud expression as if showing off. Look clearly. It's legal. Everyone at the dining table was dumbfounded. I was so shocked by her actions that my pupils dilated. Goodness gracious, why does Ava carry our marriage certificates with her all the time? Right after we registered and went out, she took my marriage certificate. She said it was because she was afraid I would back out, so she would keep it for me. Who knew she carried it with her every day? I looked at her proud expression, my expression a bit complicated. I always felt that our marriage was something she had planned for a long time. The weather had already turned into winter and light. Snow was falling continuously. Evelyn stood downstairs at my house and called me. I hesitated whether to answer. Henry, come down. Let's talk. Evelyn's voice came through. Ava answered the phone. She sneered and hung up. Sorry, I just kissed him unconscious. He can't go out. Evelyn called several times in a row, but all of them were hung up by Ava. Finally, Ava added Evelyn to my blacklist. Don't let her out of the blacklist. I blinked and nodded obediently, not daring to make a sound. After all, I'm a married man now. I'm quite perceptive, and it seems that I'm gradually letting go of Evelyn. Several days passed. Henry, did you block me? Evelyn ran up to me and questioned me. Yeah, why? I lowered my head and smiled with relief. Maybe there's just no fate between us. Before, I thought that as long as I saw you every day, I would think of Olivia, and then I wouldn't be so sad. But later, when I was with you, I seemed to care more and more about you. Even I didn't realize that I like you very much. It's not just the kind of liking that I projected my feelings for Olivia onto you, but when I found out that you also took me as a substitute for Lucas, I was really sad. At the same time, I was also relieved. We can be considered as not owing each other anything. There were tears in Evelyn's eyes, and she smiled self-deprecatingly. I used to think that I didn't love you either, but now I realize that you're very important to me. Henry, please look at me one more time. Evelyn pulled me pitifully. I dodged her touch. Maybe you're just not willing to give up, not really liking me. We were together for so long. Every time I needed you, you were never by my side. When I called you, you didn't answer. Your friends never treated me well. It seems that for all these years, it's just been my one-sided love. Evelyn, you probably never really loved me. I stated the facts despairingly. Evelyn bit her lip tightly and shook her head. That's not true. I admit that I used to love having fun, but later I realized that you wouldn't always love me, and when you left, I knew that I had already fallen in love with you. Evelyn looked at me pitifully, on the verge of tears. Henry, I know I was wrong. Please divorce Ava and come back to me. Let's get married. As she spoke, Evelyn became a bit incoherent. I'll break off the engagement with Lucas. You divorce Ava, and we'll be together. We can elope together, or we can secretly be together, as long as you don't leave me. I was even too scared to listen to what she was saying. I won't. I was about to refuse. Ava appeared beside me, affectionately took my arm, and smiled brightly. I'm sorry. My husband only loves me. We can't get a divorce. Also, being a mistress is immoral. His wife is still alive. Please be polite and don't always try to covet someone else's husband. At the scene, there were two women, one on each side of me. The three of us standing together were as awkward as the new Huawei foldable phone when it's folded. When we got home, Ava pressed me against the wall, and her slightly warm breath blew on my neck. I retreated step by step and couldn't help but let out a muffled groan. She smiled with her lips curled. Is that all the endurance you have? But I'm still not satisfied. What do you think we should do? Then we spent the whole night making love, and I didn't get a moment's rest. When I woke up in the morning, my back was sore. In this world, do girls really have so much energy? I felt like crying but had no tears. The outside world was spreading the rumor that I was Ava's pampered husband. Many people were guessing when Ava would abandon me. At first, I didn't care. But as I got along with Ava day by day, I realized how easy it was to fall in love with her. She has been a favorite of heaven since she was a child. She's gentle and kind at home and decisive in the business world. Her charisma is off the charts. I gradually found that I was looking forward to every day with Ava, and I was also afraid of her leaving. Ava has been very busy recently, but I don't know what she's busy with, and she hasn't answered my calls. I started to feel uneasy. Could she be starting to dislike me? The more I thought about it, the more scared I became. I can't bear the pain of being abandoned. After some thinking, I thought I might as well run away. I quietly moved out of Ava's house. Several days passed, and Ava didn't come to look for me. I actually missed her. What's going on? Could she really have abandoned me? If things went on like this, she probably wouldn't even know if I were to die. I wanted to call and question her, but I picked up the phone and then put it down. No, I can't be so stupid. But how can I make her yield to me without losing my dignity? I paced back and forth by the bed in a hurry, and my brain was almost smoking from thinking. Just then, my phone showed that Ava was calling. Come downstairs. What are you here for? To take you home. Ava's words were concise. As soon as I went downstairs, Ava held the divorce agreement. I left before I left and asked, what does this mean? I fidgeted with my fingers. It's just ... That's what it means. Is it because of Evelyn? I quickly shook my head. Of course not. Then what's the reason? You're tired of me and don't love me enough. I don't agree with this reason. Ava took me to an island in a helicopter. I was a bit confused and didn't react. Where is this? This is the island I'm giving you. When I walked in, I found that it was carefully decorated with flowers. I was a bit surprised. What's this? When I turned around, Ava smiled and opened the ring box for me. Henry, I love you. My eyes became hot. So, she had been preparing all these things these days. When I reached out my hand to put on the ring, my hand was trembling. So, can we not get a divorce? I don't want to lose my husband right after proposing. Ava's tone was a bit pitiful. I had been on tenterhooks these days, and my tone also had a bit of a tantrum. Are you begging me? Ava indulged me. Yeah, please don't divorce me. All right, considering how much you love me, I reluctantly agreed. Long time later, I asked Ava, Ava, it seems that you really love me. Of course, why? It's a long story. Probably a long time ago. I already knew you, but you forgot about me. But fortunately, I found you again. I looked at Ava's beautiful profile, and my love for her grew stronger day by day. It was as if in the dark, love has its own destiny. Evelyn and Ava bickered. If I had married him back then, what would be your business now? But he's still my husband now. Eva was calm and composed. She calmly took out our marriage certificate from her pants pocket and unfolded it. See, it's legal. Then she held our daughter Sophia on her lap. See, she's my own child. Evelyn was very angry, but couldn't refute, and she suffered a big loss. Later, at a family gathering in a dim corner, someone asked Evelyn, what's the thing you regret the most? Evelyn smiled sadly and gently. The thing I regret the most is letting him leave me. He and I have no future together anymore.